Hi, how you going? So for years before I started making videos, I bought gear. I bought lots of bits and pieces. Some were good, some were bad, some were unnecessary, some were just a waste of money. So I thought I'd make this video on 10 bits and pieces of gear that are actually worth buying as a hobbyist YouTuber. And none of them are an expensive new camera. Let me know in the comments if you disagree with anything, if you think there's anything that should be there, or yeah, just let me know your thoughts. So number one on the list is good microphones. And I'm not talking about expensive microphones, I'm talking about reasonably priced good microphones. So the ones I use the most, I use this wireless mic here, which is the Holyland Lark M1. I've got the dual kit, which includes a charging case. It's a really good little setup, good battery life, rechargeable by USB-C. And the other one I use is the Rode Video Mic Go 2, I believe it is. I'll link to everything in the description so you can see what it is that I've got. I find audio is the most important thing because camera quality is camera quality. If you're pointing in the right direction and the scene's lit okay, then it's going to look okay. But audio, people really react badly to bad audio, to volumes that are wrong, to all of that type of stuff. So investing in these were definitely worth it for me. And I now know that when I make a video, the audio is not going to be the problem. Number two is extra batteries. You can never have too many batteries, but you can definitely have not enough batteries. And I've had that many times when I'm out shooting and camera goes flat and I haven't charged my spares, or I didn't bring any spares, and you're done for shooting that day. So I don't tend to buy brand name batteries. I just buy generics off Amazon. But what I look for is the milliamp hours. I look for the capacity of the battery. I bought these ones recently for my Canon M50 and they've got a higher capacity than the genuine battery that came with it, and they last a lot longer, and I've found these really good, so I've recently bought a couple more because, as I said, you can never have enough batteries. Number three is USB battery chargers for your camera. You obviously get the charger that came with the camera and that's fine, but all of the ones I've got plug into the mains, which is fine if you're at home, but regularly when you're out, you want to charge a battery, you're in the car, that kind of thing. Having something that charges on USB is really useful. This one's for my M50. This is a random little box that charges GoPro batteries. And the generic ones, again, they're fine, and they tend to have multiple slots so you can charge a few batteries at a time. And I actually, in both of these cases, the charger came with a couple of batteries with it. So I got the extra batteries and I got the chargers. The next one is a good all-purpose lens. This is the one I use. It's an 18 to 150 with the crop factor. That's equivalent to about 35 to about 200. So what that does is it has nice wide at one end, so you can shoot selfies, you can shoot pieces to camera, and at the other end it's got a decent amount of zoom so you can push in on a subject or whatever it is you're filming. And I find a good all-purpose lens like this is a lot better than your primes or your specialty lenses, which are great for what they're for, but you end up having to change lenses all the time. It's easier just to have one lens that does the job, and then you can work out what it is that you want and start investing in lenses that way, rather than buying a whole heap, spending a whole bunch of money to begin with and ending up not using them because they're a hassle. The next one is a good tripod, and I'm not necessarily talking about an expensive tripod, I'm talking about a reasonably priced but well-constructed tripod. I'm currently shooting on a Manfrotto one, which cost me a bit over $100 years ago, and it does the job beautifully. It's seen weather, it's seen dirt, and it's still going strong. But in the past I've had my fair share of cheap plastic ones, and they're fine until they're not, and the point where they're not usable anymore. The plastic clips break and you can't use them anymore. And we all want, you know, the expensive carbon fiber one that's light and that's beautiful, but for the level of stuff that I'm doing and the money that I want to spend on it, I just can't justify the money. And when something like this might be a little heavier, but this folds up, it fits in my bag and it's still fine. So just get something that's decent but not expensive. Okay, the next one is lights, and this is again something you could spend a lot of money on. If you don't even have to try that hard to spend a lot of money on lights. But I've actually gone the other direction, and I've bought a lot of cheap lights, and most of them are fine. I'm shooting, there's a couple of desk lamps pointing at me there, an IKEA desk lamp there, and they do the job fine. I've got portable ones, which none of them cost me more than $50, and yeah, they're all great. The most important thing though is make sure that they're USB rechargeable. You don't want to be messing around with batteries. So something that's rechargeable will do the job, and once you work out what it is that you want, then you can start shelling out the money for the more expensive ones, the bigger ones. But the bigger ones are a hassle to carry around, and something small that lights up the scene and does the job is what you need. So the next thing is a decent computer to edit on with a dedicated graphics card, and that's the secret. I was messing around with my old laptop, which almost did the job, but it was frustrating. It took a long time to render, the timeline didn't play correctly, and I ended up getting this one on special on Amazon. It cost a bit of money, but it was well worth the investment. This is an MSI something gaming laptop with a decent graphics card, and I haven't looked back since buying it. The difference is night and day, and it takes what would be a frustrating thing, and I quite like editing, especially when this is involved. So a decent editing laptop or desktop is well worth the money. The next thing I definitely recommend spending money on is spare memory cards, and this is like the spare batteries. When you're out shooting and the card fills up, it's incredibly frustrating. I had it happen the other day and I didn't have a spare card with me, and it was a silly mistake to make. I ended up having to waste 5 or 10 minutes just staring at my camera, working out which files I could delete so I could keep shooting. And memory cards are cheap. You don't even need to buy big ones. Just I've got a couple of 32 gig cards that live in with my batteries, and they're there if I need them. But if I don't need them, that's great. But if I do need them, they're there. The next one is storage. So video is very space hungry on your computer, and I don't like to delete all my files that I've used to make videos because sometimes they come in handy again. So what I do is, I don't have one of those big networks NAS drives that everybody has that look amazing. I just have a couple of 5 gig drives. I back up to one, copy the same to the other, and then I've got 2 copies of everything if anything goes wrong. And the last thing you want to do is lose all your files. So the last thing on my list is an action cam. So I have the GoPro Hero 8. I have looked at upgrading, but it's been unnecessary for me at this stage because this one does the job well. This one has decent stabilization, and what I like about the action cam is they're able to get angles and shots that you wouldn't otherwise be able to get your decent camera in. Like, you can stick it to stuff, you can put it on the ground, you can have it out in the rain, in the wet, and not worry about it. And yeah, I've filmed entire vlogs on this, entire videos just filmed on this GoPro, and I've got it on the good little shorty tripod, which just means that it's going to stand up wherever you put it. So yeah, I've had GoPros all the way back since I had number 1, 2, 4, and this one now, and a bunch of other ones scattered in there. And yeah, highly recommended. They're not just for extreme sports. So there you have it. There's 10 things that as a hobbyist YouTuber are definitely worth investing in. And I'm not even talking about investing a lot of money. It's just buying reasonably priced things that make the whole process easier. And so there's less friction, so you can get out and shoot more. So let me know your thoughts in the comments if you disagree with anything on the list, or if you think there's anything that I've missed. But otherwise, I'll see you next week. Bye.